In this lab, we're going to test air pollution on an ecosystem. We're going to test 3 different types of air pollution. The first one is particles by smoke using incense, or carbon dioxide produced by marble rocks and hydrochloric acid, or sulfur dioxide produced by sodium sulfite plus hydrochloric acid. Get a cup. Label your cup. Fill up your ecosystem cup with at least 3 living things. After you've set up your ecosystem, take a piece of pH paper and put it into the soil. Use your neighbor's pencil when they're not looking to push the soil around the pH paper and get it as moist as possible. You can leave this in here for several minutes. While your pH paper is setting, you're going to measure the height of your plants in centimeters, not inches. Dust off your pH strip from your soil and check the container to see what pH the soil is. Use a hole punch and punch a hole in the lid. Get a piece of aquatic tubing. Cut a square of parafilm. Take the back of the parafilm off. Prepare the parafilm by stretching it in both directions. Fold it in half. Take the crease side and put it near the tip of the aquatic tubing. Pinch it and twist it as you pull. Take the tubing with parafilm and put it through the hole in the lid. Twist it and try to make a tight seal so air cannot move through it. Put the lid on top of your ecosystem. Get a beaker, take a square of parafilm, stretch it both ways like we did before. Wrap the parafilm around the tubing onto the tip of the beaker. Pull so that it's sticky. Open your incense packet. Nope. Open the incense packet and inside get out the cone and the little disc. Haha! Place the metal disc and the incense cone at the bottom of the beaker, and then you're going to pour water from a small container against the glass into the bottom of the beaker. Light your incense. Let it burn for a little bit. Blow it out and place the watch glass on top with a little crack so that air can circulate and produce smoke. While we're waiting on the smoke to build up in the beaker, cut a large piece of parafilm. You're going to take your large parafilm and pull it on each side. And when you have enough smoke in there, you're going to pull the watch glass off, and a partner is going to seal the top of the beaker with parafilm. If your parafilm breaks, you can replace it and do it again, or just cover it with more parafilm. Extinguish the incense by swirling the water onto the incense. Make sure that the cone falls over and that it's fully wetted. Set this whole thing aside for 1 to several days and then check the results. Get one of these stoppers with a plastic pipette inside, and if you don't already have one of these and you have to make it, watch my other video how to make these. It's a bummer. Take the small tip of the pipette and put it into the aquatic tubing and push it so that it overlaps. Haha! Get a beaker and a test tube. Check and make sure the stopper fits in your test tube before you actually add the chemicals. Add 4 or 5 rocks of marble. Put on gloves and goggles. Get about 2 milliliters of hydrochloric acid, which is a little bit into the bulb, and as soon as you're done putting in the test tube, have your neighbor stopper it immediately. Ta-da! You can swirl this a little bit to get the acid interacting with the marble, and then when you're done with this whole setup, you can set it aside for 2 to 3 days. In order to make sulfur dioxide, we're going to mix 1.5 grams of sodium sulfite, and we're going to measure it using an electronic balance. Then we're going to add our 1.5 gram sodium sulfite to a test tube. We are going to add 2 milliliters of 6 mole hydrochloric acid, and this gas is pretty noxious, so make sure your partner is ready with the stopper to stop her immediately. Ready, get set, go. Once you have this set up, set it somewhere in the room for 1 to 3 days. After several days of this setup, you're going to take the top off. You're going to check the pH in the soil as you did before, check the height, and make any observations about your plants or the soil or anything that has changed in the environment.